From the Starr Conspiracy and the content channel, Hey, Brett Starr. I'm Brett Starr. This is Long Strange Trip, Episode 1. We were on a trip to San Francisco for spring break, and I was really excited about it because it was the first time that my family was going to see the office that we have in San Francisco. And we've got an office there on 2nd Avenue down by the ballpark. And I've been going there for years, and it was the first time that we were all going to be together in a place that I travel to very frequently. And the kids were excited, and, you know, we kind of been reading and watching the news just like everyone else, and we knew that there was this coronavirus thing, but we really didn't know too much about it. I started keeping a journal on March 7th of 2020, and just to read a little bit from it to kind of provide an idea of when the realization came crashing down on me and my family that this thing was pretty serious. March 7th, 2020. Coronavirus? Let's go to San Francisco. We had booked a spring break trip many months in advance. Other people were starting to freak out, but we were cavalier. We decided to keep our trip. We arrived in San Francisco and headed to the office. Jonathan met us to hand over the key. We made small talk for a while. Then we headed out for dinner at the 21st Amendment, which is one block from the South Park Cafe, which would report days later that an employee had contracted COVID-19. We decided to head over to Pier 39 on the F train. The kids loved it. No one was there. No lines for anything. Super tired. We went home and fell asleep early. March 8th, 2020. Despite mounting bad news, we stuck to our plan. We ate dim sum in the morning at Yang Sing. Then we headed to the wharf to catch a ferry to Alcatraz. The Goodmans joined us, but barely made the boat. There were probably 1,000 people at Alcatraz. It's a great tour. It was a real highlight for me. I got the usual patches and hiking medallions at the gift shop, but also picked up some comics. Escape from Alcatraz. The kids loved them. March 9th, 2020. We headed out to Muir Woods. Went on a 5-mile hike with the kids, a tough one, the Ben Johnson Trail to Dip Sea Trail, punctuated by a beautiful picnic on a hillside where we could see the ocean. The kids mostly did great, but there was some complaining, and Jennifer almost got eaten by a mountain lion. After our hike, we headed to the Pelican Inn. This place is awesome. We checked in, at which point we found out that we had arrived a day early, but they still had a room for us, a real sign that the coronavirus was keeping people at home. March 10th, 2020. Left the inn to visit some wineries. First stop, Furthermore Winery. Wine sucked, but was a great stop for the kids. Beautiful day, bocce, nice lawn, etc. Next stop, Landmark Winery. This is where Jennifer hatched her conspiracy theory that we all already have had coronavirus. They just didn't know what it was when we got tested. For example, I had an upper respiratory infection before leaving on spring break. Went to the doctor, flu test was negative, got a steroid shot, some cough syrup, got on a plane. Final stop was Napa Wine Cellars, best wine of the day, but that's not saying much. We bought a case to be nice. Stayed at a funky hotel, the River Point Napa Valley. It was an old trailer park that had been converted into small cottages, which were really small, prefabricated, tiny homes that had taken the place of old trailers. It looked great online. In real life, it was a little weird, but it had beds and a pool. We're cool. March 11th, 2020. This is the morning we started to freak out. It felt like the tide was turning. Too many announcements, too much weirdness. We argued over keeping our original travel plans, flying home a day early, or keeping the rental car and driving home in case airports were shut down. Later that day, we would decide to rebook our flights. It was a really good decision. I went swimming with the kids on a beautiful sunny morning. It felt strange, like the world was coming to an end. And this is the last time I'd see them. Got out of the pool, stopped at the front desk for some coffee, headed back to the room to pack up, and left for breakfast at the Napa General Store. 2:01 p.m. from the Napa General Store in Napa. I sent the company our first coronavirus memo. I typed on a laptop as the kids ate French toast on a beautiful and warm sunny day. First coronavirus memo, March 11th, 2020. Hello, party people. Opinions on coronavirus are pretty mixed, dare I say polarized. But if there's one thing I know, okay, two things. It's that no one is completely right, and that people should have the right to think what they want and take care of themselves and their families the way they think is best. Our policies at the Starr Conspiracy were designed from the start to allow people the flexibility to live the way they want and work the way they need to. Here is what you need to know about the Starr Conspiracy. We are following CDC guidelines. The office will remain open. Some people find it inconvenient to work from home. You have the right to work from home. You have the right to unlimited paid time off. If you come into the office, put some distance between you and others. We have plenty of space to spread out, so try and use it to create some social distance. If you are sick in any way, stay home until you are free of fever for 24 hours without using medicine. I'm not going to tell you to wash your hands, cough the right way, and all that stuff, because I'm guessing you've used the internet in the last few days. We have good policies for times like these. Use them. I promise that no one is going to be stigmatized or punished in any way for using our flexible work policies or our PTO policies to take care of the things you need to take care of. And one more thing. Some people may be worried about the economy and our business performance and all that stuff. Here's the deal. We can only control what we can control, and that's a lot. The best thing that we can do right now is take care of ourselves, each other, and our clients. Let's be the company that provided excellent care to ourselves and our clients as we dealt head-on with this public health situation. Let's not assume the worst, because when we believe the worst is going to happen, there is a tendency to start acting like it already has. Our business is simple. We deliver excellent work as quickly as possible and at a fair price. There is no reason we can't continue to do just that. And so that is what we will do. Feel free to call, text, or email me if you have any questions or concerns. Everyone loves everyone. Brett. P.S. Back from our San Francisco spring break on Friday night. See you soon, in person or on a screen. The rest of the afternoon, we toured wineries, Domaine Chandon and Napa Mum, while we drank sparkling wine and talked about plans, including changing our flight to come home from San Francisco a day early. The kids played Go Fish or Hello Neighbor on our phones. Out in Napa, it seemed like nothing was going on at all. After Napa Mum, we headed back to the city, stopping at Cavallo Point for dinner. Once at the office, we went up to the roof, a promise that I'd made the kids. It was chilly on the roof, but it was nice to forget it all and take in the San Francisco skyline. A nice moment. Later, we went back inside, put the kids to bed, and started packing for our new flight. March 12th, 2020, 5 a.m. I woke up early and started sorting and packing. 7:30 a.m., returned the rental car. I wasn't happy about it, wanted to hold on to it in case flights were canceled, but I did it anyway. 9 a.m., stopped at the apothecarium. 10 a.m., met Jonathan to hand over office keys, headed out to airport. It was dead. We sailed through security. We sailed onto the plane. It was at about 50% capacity, which is crazy. Keep in mind that I was able to change flights at the last minute for $12 per ticket. Crazy. 5 p.m., landed at DFW, got our bags, and headed home. Traffic was light, despite rush hour. Decided to go by Chick-fil-A for dinner. After returning home, we unpacked the car and debated going to the grocery store immediately. We opted out. Too tired. March 13th, 2020. Morning. Jennifer went to Target. Everything was gone. She stocked up on what we could. Keep in mind, we already have most of what we need on hand all the time. Later that morning, I went to Walgreens. The shelves were empty, except for Easter candy. 12:54 p.m. Sent second coronavirus memo to company announcing some new measures, including no travel, no guests, work from home, self-quarantine, cleaning procedures, ban on in-person meetings. 4:44 p.m. Sent third coronavirus memo to company, telling them how to handle customer questions. In short, keep marketing. It's an opportunity to define your brand. Got a question from an employee asking if we have enough cash reserves to make payroll for several months. I said yes. The real answer was no. The news is nonstop. Everything is closing. We found out school is officially closed for 2 weeks. Soccer is postponed for Bonnie. Baseball is postponed for Jack. Left the house to buy some last-minute supplies, meat, cooking oil, charcoal, etc. Lines at the grocery store were unlike anything I've ever seen. It took me 30 minutes to check out. Tensions were running high. Also stopped at liquor store and bought vodka, bourbon, and tequila. Plenty. With our wine, we should be able to drink through the apocalypse. Donald Trump addressed the nation. He's a loser. The stock market went up during his address. He signed a printout and sent it to his supporters. Dick. But I'm sure what we gained on Friday we'll lose on Monday. I'm still waiting for my $25,000 to clear in E-Trade so that I can get in on the action. Tried out the rice cooker. It worked great. The kids loved it. Good thing, because we have 25 pounds of rice. We also ate chicken breasts and salad. Had a movie night. Watched that spy pigeon movie with Will Smith. Afterwards, I put the kids to bed. Started reading Chew to Bonnie. Seems like an appropriate comic, if not age appropriate. March 14th, 2020, 8:50 a.m. Sent fourth coronavirus memo to company, telling them to stay home if possible and that we could help them get their home workspace ready. March 15th, 2020, headed to Academy and bought 2 shotguns, a 12 gauge for me and a 20 gauge for Jennifer. Also bought the kids BB guns. Got a fun game to play too, the ladder game. After Academy, I headed to Central Market. What a madhouse. They are limiting frozen items to 3 per person. Deep freeze arrived in the mail today, so I loaded it up with meat. March 16th, 2020. Woke up early to prepare for the day. Showered, drank coffee, etc. Headed to Walgreens, still looking for isopropyl alcohol. They are still out. Came back home to check on the deep freeze. It's at about 20 degrees. I'll make it colder once I vacuum seal everything. 8 a.m. Had a call with a prospect. They are canceling their live event in September, which was the primary focus of our proposal. We had a great conversation about agile campaign development. Basically, the ability to create campaigns in weekly sprints to address whatever changes the world may throw at us. It went over very well. I think we'll close a deal. And if we can do that during coronavirus, we will succeed. 1:30 p.m. Great senior leadership team meeting. Had a turkey sandwich for lunch. Everyone had sandwiches of one kind or another. Ate some fresh red grapes. For dinner, we had Taco Tuesday. Optimism is winning. March 17th, 2020. My E-Trade money finally cleared. I looked at the futures, and it looked like we were going to get a little bump today. I bought Apple, Bank of America, AMD, GE, and KGC, a gold company. Sold KGC as soon as it gained 10%. The other stocks started with losses, and I got a little nervous, but they are gaining now. Solid check-in this morning. Everyone virtual. People did seem a little down. I talked about the fact that optimism is a strategy. Honestly, I don't know how to keep up, but our strategy at work is working so far. Over the next coming months, I didn't really know how much change we would experience, but it was something new every day. And I remember reading an article in the New York Times on August 20th, 2020, and the article was called Out of Office, a survey of our new work lives, based on a survey of 1,123 remote workers by the New York Times and Morning Consult, that 86% of people were satisfied working from home. 46% were very satisfied. Only 1 in 5, 20%, said they wanted to go back to the office full time. 1 in 3 said they would move to a new city or state if remote work continued indefinitely. 40% said they were taking more walks. 33% said they were exercising more. I read this article and I thought, well, it's no way that my people feel that way. It's no way that the Starr Conspiracy feels that way. What a strange world. And so I went out and found the survey that Morning Consult had created for that article, and I created my own version, and I sent it out to people in the Starr Conspiracy. And what we found when we sent that survey was that 97% of people were satisfied with the current arrangement. We were all working remote at that point. No one was in the office. Only 7% said they wanted to come back to the office full time. 45% said they would move to a new city or state if remote work continued indefinitely. And 73% said they had more time to focus on their health. There was no rush to return. Most say that their work and personal life are more blended. Most say that their daily routines have changed significantly. Most people are not in a rush to come back to the office. 65%, when we did this survey in September of 2020, 65% of people said they were uncomfortable returning today. 63% think they will feel less comfortable in a traditional office even after COVID. 34% said 6 months or longer before they would feel comfortable returning to the office. People wanted to keep working from home. When asked what they would do when the COVID era was over, most people said they wanted to keep working from home. 97% of people at the Starr Conspiracy said they were more likely to apply for a job if working from home is an option. 93% view working from home more positively now. 87% enjoy working from home. 72% feel they have more time to focus on health. 50% feel more connected to family. 48% would like to work from home 1 to 2 days per week. 38% would like to work from home 3 to 4 days per week. But there were also feelings of disconnection and isolation. 89% have felt disconnected from coworkers, and 66% have felt isolated and lonely. So today is Thursday, November 11th, 2021. And I'm still trying to figure out what the hell just happened over like the last 2 years. I'm trying to piece it all back together. And I'm reading through all of the memos that I wrote and the journals that I kept and thinking through all the decisions that I made. And that survey just keeps sticking in my mind because that was relatively early on in the pandemic, the first time we ran it. We ran it again later in 2021, but the first time that we ran it was in September of 2020. But I just kept thinking back to it and comparing it to where we are now and wondering how much people's attitudes or behaviors or beliefs had changed from the moment that we conducted that survey to where we are today. We're in a radically different environment. The Starr Conspiracy is now a digital by default company, which means that we don't meet in person. We have employees all around the world, and we're 100% virtual. We still have offices in San Francisco and Fort Worth, but they're mostly used for socializing. In fact, we're about to remodel our office in Fort Worth to take out all of the desks and create more of just a gathering place for people. And while I'm going through this process of trying to piece together everything that happened, I wanted to circle back to all of the folks who participated in that survey, but also to our clients and also to the other shareholders in the Starr Conspiracy and the senior leadership team. And I want to ask them what they did during the pandemic and how they view the world now and what's changed in their lives. What do they think has changed about the way we work? what's changed out there in the world. It's a reckoning of sorts, because I think the Starr Conspiracy did a lot of things right, but I also know we did a lot of things wrong. And I want to hear those stories from people so that I can learn from them and try to gain a fuller picture of how many of the changes we've been through are likely to be permanent and how many will fade with time. So I have a list of questions I'm going to ask everyone that I interview. Tell me about yourself. What's your name? What's your backstory? What do you do at the Starr Conspiracy? My name is Brett Starr. I'm the founder and CEO of the Starr Conspiracy. I grew up in a small town in Alice, Texas, down in South Texas. And by some weird combination of luck and happenstance, I wound up running an agency. At what point did you realize the pandemic was going to change everything? Well, I think we've been through that. I was in Napa Valley when shit got real. What have been your biggest life changes during the pandemic? I don't go out much anymore. What changes do you think will be permanent for you and for society as a whole? I think that we have a lot to learn. I think we have a lot to look forward to. I think that a lot of things have gone away that are never coming back. What has been your greatest moment or most positive change? Without question, my greatest moment, and it was a long moment, was feeling that I got a group of people through the pandemic. And that was the folks in the Starr Conspiracy, my family, and my wife's parents. And it brought us closer together. And I think that was the best thing that came out of the pandemic for me. How has work changed for you during the pandemic? I don't travel anymore. I used to travel all the time. I'm glad about that. I'd be happy if I was never on an airplane again, or another hotel room, or visiting other people's conference rooms. What has the Starr Conspiracy done right during the pandemic? We put our people first and we took care of them. What have we done wrong? And we did a lot of things wrong. And I want to hear from other people about those things.